Mike, I mean, you see people skimping in means of home inspections, because I do.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we get the first thing that tells me that people definitely, I mean, they definitely cut the corner, so to speak. Now, when we get phone calls from customers that are not referred by a real estate agent, they don't really know where to start or what to ask us. So they just usually call and they say, hey, how much do you charge for a home inspection? Okay, which is not unreasonable because it is part of the whole package as to when you're deciding who you're gonna hire.
Sure.
But some folks will call, they'll ask us how much we charge. We'll get some particulars about the house, give them some pricing, explain to them what we do, what we don't do, because every home inspector has got a little bit of a different scope at times, and then they'll make whatever decision is best for them. Now, what we've seen, and this actually happened just this week, believe it or not, a customer called us a year ago. They chose a different home inspector based on their real estate agent's recommendation, because this other guy could save them some money. And after they moved in, they started to have problems with the house. So they called us up and they wanted us to come back and check the house. Now, they've lived there for a year. So being totally honest with you, conditions could have changed between a year ago when they hired this other guy and now. But there's a lot of stuff that's just done wrong that wasn't, I mean, like blatantly obvious stuff, like the way the flashing was on the roof. Before I got out of the truck, I could look at it from the street and tell you it was wrong. The way they trimmed out all the windows. It was a flip house that they purchased, and the guy went through it, and they did the stereotypical low-end flipper kind of flip. They put lipstick on a pig. They didn't really do a lot of the stuff correctly, and now the house has water intrusion issues around all the windows, and the roof's leaking, and the boiler was a lot older than they thought it was. There's actually some shingles missing from the roof, which allowed me to see the fact that the roofer didn't put enough nails in the roofing shingles, because we could see some of the shingles with only 4 nails instead of 6. Well, when you start cutting these kinds of corners and then you bring in an inspector that's a budget home inspector, you save, this guy admittedly told me he saved $250 on his home inspection. And now it's costing him thousands of dollars because he has to go ahead and put a new roof on the house. He can't really go back to the seller, because the seller is like, hey, man, you did your due diligence. You hired a home inspector. You had a chance to check out the house before you bought it. I'm sorry, but now you need to pay for your own brand new roof, even though you bought a house that you thought had a 1-year-old roof on it. So, I mean, this guy's in a world of hurt to save $250. Crazy. To me, when you call around and you ask home inspectors questions, yes, ask them the price.
Yeah. Ask
them how long they've been doing it. Go ahead and ask them how many inspections they do. Go ahead and ask them if they're familiar with that area. Or like a house we did just yesterday, it was a log cabin, like log home construction.
Oh, yeah.
Ask them if they're familiar with a log cabin. There's not that many of those. There's a lot of inspectors who've never even looked at one, and they might not be familiar with the particularities of that style construction. Ask them if they have experience with historical homes. Don't be afraid to ask a million questions. We want to answer your questions. Believe me, all of us do. Even the guys that don't like to talk a lot, they want to answer your questions. So ask a lot of questions and be comfortable with their answers. It's not just price and schedule. When the only thing that they have to tell you that is better about their company is that it's less expensive, that's almost just a red flag in and of itself.